Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down the 6-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players, help you win some money night in and night out. And if you are getting really serious about MLB DFS, playing every single night, really trying to be a profitable player, I would highly recommend my premium content that's linked below in the description. Get access to my MLB package, which includes things like my starting pitcher data sheet, hot hitter Statcast data, splits leaderboard, team hitting data, bullpen data, power rankings, and cheat sheet. Filling those out every day, and reflecting on my power rankings and cheat sheet every single day. I feel like I'm nailing it every time on these slates, and I know my current patrons, from the feedback I've gotten, are really happy. So check that out, link below in the description. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down this slate today. As always, we're going to talk about the pitchers that we want to target first, and then we'll break down bats. So I select to sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports. We get points for strikeouts, and the top guy on the slate today in K rate is going to be Blake Snell, taking on these Los Angeles Dodgers. A 32.8% K rate overall, 16.6 swing strike rate, a 31.5% K rate against righties, and then a 38.3% K rate against lefties. Really good across the board, really solid. The only problem is his opponent. He has to take on the Los Angeles Dodgers today, who have an absolutely stacked lineup. They don't really strike out the most, and he is a 125 underdog in this one. So priced at 8.9 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 9.4. So you're going to pay a decent amount for Trevor Bauer's priced up more than him, who we'll talk about next. But yeah, he's got elite stuff. He's taking on a hard team in the Los Angeles Dodgers. So is he a viable play? Absolutely. Whether we want to go there or not is going to depend upon the bats we're able to fit in. I'm sure, because it would never hurt to get him in your lineups. Just know he's probably not going to have his top ceiling game, but he could. He can always go out there and strike out a bunch. He's got that 16.6 swinging strike rate, so he can make anyone swing and miss. So Blake Snell top on the slate. Trevor Bauer second on the slate in K rate, priced up the most for good reason. A 30.3% K rate overall, a 12.4 swinging strike rate, 32.4% K rate against righties, and then a 27.8% K rate against lefties. Really solid across the board. Does give up some hard contact from time to time, and he is taking on a pretty tough opponent in the same game with the San Diego Padres, but does come in as a 148 favorite. The Padres do only have a 3.21 implied run total, which does say something about Trevor Bauer's talent, of course, because this is an elite lineup. Still expected to go out there and shut it down. He's got it priced at 11K on DraftKings. Looking at what he's done so far in the season, 1, 2, 3, 4 starts. He's gone 6.1, 6.2, 7, and 6 innings, giving up 1 earned run, 0 earned runs the last 2 times out. Before that, he gave up 2 and 4, but just has looked really good across the board. So Trevor Bauer, top arm on the slate, priced up for good reason. You could definitely have some interest in him. Next guy, we got Nola taking on these Colorado Rockies in Coors Field. Not an ideal pitching environment. 28.4% K rate overall, and 11.7 swing strike rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's really good at 29.1% K rate against righties, and then a 27.5% K rate against lefties. Really good across the board, but the problem is he is in Coors Field, so if you're going to be playing this guy today, know the risk you're taking on. I do think that he's a viable play. I'm not going to lie. He's priced at 8K on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 8.8. And while this isn't the best pitching environment for him, the Rockies only have a 4.16 implied run total. As I mentioned, Nola is pretty solid across the board. My only concern would be he does rely on that curveball quite a bit that he likes to throw, and those are the type of pitches in Colorado with that thin air. They don't quite break as much. They kind of have a tendency to hang up there, so I like to target guys that are really more reliant on, fastball slider. He does throw the fastball quite a bit, but he does like his curveball, so just a little bit of disclaimer there. If you're watching the game or you decide to play him, and you see one of his curveballs hang over the middle of the plate, it might not necessarily be all his fault with the playing conditions, and that's always sucks when you have the guy in your lineup. But I think he's a viable play. Just know what you're getting yourself into in Colorado. But, you got Trevor Bauer and Blake Snell both taking on elite offenses. You could argue maybe the top 2 offenses in the league. And then Nola in a less than ideal pitching environment, but he gets a much easier opponent. So next on the list, we got Kevin Gausman taking on these Miami Marlins. He has a 27.1% K rate, a 14.7 swinging strike rate, a 25.4% K rate against righties, and then a 29% K rate against lefties. Really good stuff across the board. He does get the pitch at home in San Francisco. Great pitcher's park, as we have discussed in the past on this channel. If you've been watching my content, pulling up the chart right here as far as home runs given up. Really good at containing those home runs in Oracle Park, so I always like to target pitchers here. And looking at Kevin Gausman's price tag on FanDuel, they're going to price at 9.4. Over on DraftKings, they got him priced at 7.6. Looking at how he's fared so far in the season. let's see, we got 6 innings pitched, 6 innings pitched, 7 innings pitched, and 6.2 innings pitched. And he's been really good. 5 earned runs against Cincinnati, but they've been a good offense all year long. In the other 2 starts, he's had 1 and 1 earned run, and he's been up there around 90 to 100 pitches every single start. And he gets to take on a Miami team in a good pitching environment, and he's a 148 favorite. So I actually tend to think like Kevin Gausman has it going on for him on this slate today. As far as me wanting to play him, he's a little bit of a discount on these other guys. He gets a great matchup. He's in a good pitcher's park. So yeah, I like Kevin Gausman quite a bit. I think he's in a great spot overall, and I definitely am looking forward to target him on this slate today. And then from there on, not really sure I'm trying to go to anyone. You could target Drew Smyly against Arizona. They've been a little bit of a lackluster offense, but he has some really hard contact issues. I'm not really sure I'm trying to go there. I don't like target Madison Bumgarner. Pablo Lopez in that same game and San Fran would probably be my next option I'm going to. 8-2 on FanDuel over on DraftKings. They got him priced at 6.9. A 22.4% K rate, ground ball, fly ball stuff is really good. A 27.1% K rate against righties, and then an 18% K rate against lefties. He is a lot better against those right-handed hitters than he is lefties. That's the only problem here. This Giants offense does have quite a few lefties in their lineup. They're pretty stacked with those left-handed bats. But I think Pablo Lopez has the talent, and honestly, those 2 pitchers in that game today might be where I'm leaning, so I can fit in the bats that I want to fit. And you know, I feel good about the game environment and their opponent. Blake Snell, Trevor Bauer, of course, elite arms. I'm just like, it's going to depend on the bats I really like, but we'll get into that here in a second. And I think we're ready to get into the bats because I'm not really looking to go to anyone else as far as pitching is concerned. So let's go ahead and sort my sheet by skill interactive ERA. Sierra, it's a great way of determining how good a pitcher's been in the past, how good they're expected to be, and the worst on the slate today. We got Antonio Senzatella in Coors Field. Terrible in the K rate, terrible in the swing strike rate. The ground ball and fly ball stuff is respectable, but does give up a 469 slugging to righties and a 475 slugging to lefties. Doesn't strike anyone out. Does a good job keeping the ball on the ground at times, but when you're taking on an offense that has guys with a ton of power, like, I'm not scared at all, and I definitely think that's the case for this Philadelphia Phillies team today. Got to be the top stack on the slate. In Coors Field, they're on the road. They get the guaranteed at-bats in the 9th inning, and they're taking on Senzatella in the Colorado bullpen, which is also terrible. Andrew McCutchen, Rhys Hoskins, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Didi Gregorius, Alec Boehm. Like, love all these guys. Brad Miller. Anyone that cracks this Philadelphia lineup today, you're going to have interest in. And, of course, Bryce Harper would be my favorite of the bunch in the 3-hole. Guy just can absolutely rake, so like Bryce Harper a lot today. Second on the list, we got Wade LeBlanc taking on the Oakland Athletics. Unfortunately, it looks like this game's probably not going to play. Like, I'll give you guys a quick breakdown because if it does play, this would be a great spot. I just don't think it's going to happen. Wade LeBlanc, really bad across the board, gives up a lot of slugging to those right-handed hitters and gives up a lot of slugging to the lefties. He's just not good, but the Oakland Athletics definitely rake left-handed pitching, so you can play Mark Canha, Ramon Mariano, Matt Chapman, Sean Murphy, Stephen Piscotty, Elvis Andrews, all the above. I'd like all of them. I don't think this game's going to play. It's looking very highly unlikely. Chris Bassett, same thing. Really bad across the board. He gives up a 410 slugging to lefties. He's a lot better against righties, but against lefties he really struggles, so I'd be looking to the Baltimore lefties. Guys like DJ Stewart, Rio Ruiz, Chance Sisco, Freddie Galvis, and then, of course, you can throw in the righties to round out your stack like a Trey Mancini and a Maikel Franco. But as mentioned, I don't think this game is going to play today, so I don't think we even have to worry about targeting it. We got Dallas Kikel taking on the Texas Rangers. He's really good in the ground ball and the fly ball stuff, and he's really tough on left-handed bats, and they have a lot of them. And honestly, he's pretty tough on everyone across the board. He gives up a lot of contact, but he's a sinker ball thrower that does a very good job of keeping the ball on the ground and limiting hard contact. And the Rangers currently have a 3.31 implied run total, so I'm not all that interested to target him. I would much rather target a guy like Drew Smyly taking on these Arizona Diamondbacks. If you look at his numbers across the board, they are terrible. Terrible in the ground ball, the fly ball, terrible in the walk, terrible in the hard hit rate. He gives up a 497 slugging to right-handed bats and a 547 slugging to lefties. Like, Drew Smyly is just not good. He's washed up. The Diamondbacks have a 3.68 implied run total. Hopefully that makes it so that not a lot of people play them because, I mean, you can't get a much better spot than this taking on Drew Smyly. Carson Kelly in the 4-hole rakes lefties. Going to absolutely love him. Ahmed at the shortstop position rakes lefties. Like him at the bottom of the lineup. You got Andy Young and Wyatt Matheson at the top. Asdrubal Cabrera is a switch hitter. You got Eduardo Escobar, who's a switch hitter. Even if these guys don't excel the most against left-handed pitching, I just don't care because Drew Smyly sucks. So I always like to target him in my DFS ventures because most of the time it's going to reward you. If he burns you one time, just stack against him the next time he takes the mound, and you'll probably be feeling pretty good about yourself. So Kyle Gibson taking on the Chicago White Sox. Does give up quite a bit of hard contact, but he is good in the ground ball and the fly ball stuff. He gives up a 425 slugging to righties and a 446 slugging to lefties, but like I mentioned, pretty good at keeping the ball on the ground. The Chicago White Sox have a 4.19 implied run total. This game's not exactly expected to be the most high scoring, so sure, you could stack up these White Sox if you're feeling it, but probably not the best spot to be doing so today. I would much rather target this Atlanta Braves offense, taking on the Madison Bumgarner. He has some major hard contact. He's a 43.8% hard contact, second worst on the slate, right behind Drew Smyly. He already talked about in the same game. A 492 slugging given up to righties, a 46% hard hit rate, 341 WOBA. Terrible against lefties. He is very good. But against these righties, we can really target them today, and I am going to love this Atlanta Braves stack. Ronald Acuna, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, Ozzie Albies, Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, Heredia. Love all of them. My least favorite would be Heredia, but he's at the bottom of the order. You can always possibly toss him in your lineups if you need the salary relief. But specifically, Ronald Acuna, Marcell Ozuna, Travis d'Arnaud, Ozzie Albies, Swanson, and Riley. Like, that stack all the way through. Gotta love them today. It's in Atlanta. It's a pretty good hitter's park, and Madison Bumgarner is just not good. Looking at how the Braves' Truist Park lines up, not the best out to left field for home runs, but other than that, yellow across the board, pretty decent. And if you're looking at the left column here that says left field for right-handed batters, it's green all the way down the board as far as slugging, WOBA, OBP, average, and all that stuff. Doubles and triples, it gets a little bit down, and then home runs, not the best, but when you're facing a guy, Madison Bumgarner, that gives up this amount of hard contact, and you got a guy like Ronald Acuna at the top of the lineup that can hit the ball 450 feet, don't got to really worry about that. We definitely like some of the Atlanta Braves bats today. And then from there on, I'm not all too interested. Like Pablo Lopez, I mentioned his issues against left-handed bats, so you can stack up these lefties on the Giants side. I do think that's an interesting tournament option. Who I'd be looking to, Tommy LaStella, Mikey Stremski, Brandon Bell, Alex Dickerson. That stack specifically. Brandon Crawford, not as interested in him, but if you need someone at the shortstop position, no issues with you tossing him in there to complete your stack. Kevin Gausman, I really like taking on Miami today, so I'm not really looking to target him with bats. I don't think if you were going to target him, you'd want to target him from the left-handed side of the plate, and the Marlins don't really have a lot of lefties, so you got Jazz Chisholm and Corey Dickerson. That's about it, which is another big reason why I like Gausman today. Aaron Nola, you can always stack up the Rockies in Coors Field because it's Coors Field, and then, of course, Trevor Bauer and Blake Snell, both elite pitchers, but can give up their fair share of hard contact, and they could be interesting guys to stack against in tournaments. If I'm stacking against Trevor Bauer, I'm playing the left-handed bats. If I'm stacking against Blake Snell, he's actually been a little bit reverse splitsy. He gives up quite a bit of hard contact to lefties as well. But probably leading the righties because he's left-handed. But, I mean, when you have a guy like Corey Seager and Max Muncy, and Blake Snell's a little reverse splitsy, and he gives up a lot of hard contact, maybe you can get these guys lower owned in tournaments, and that could really shoot you up the leaderboards. And then, like I mentioned with Trevor Bauer, Trent Grisham, Eric Hosmer, those guys on the left-handed side of the plate, Jake Cronenworth, and then you can round out your stack with guys like Will Myers, Manny Machado, and Fernando Tatis. No issues with doing that in tournaments. It can make you go up the leaderboards real quick. These are really good lineups. They can get to any pitcher, and even though these guys are elite pitchers, like, good payoff for you today. So that is my overall breakdown of this slate today. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Ozzie Albies taking on Madison Bumgarner. Ozzie Albies, not exactly your top power hitter in the league. However, when he does take on lefties, his power increases tremendously. A switch hitter that really excels when he hits from the right-handed side of the plate. And when breaking down how he does against the pitchers that Madison Bumgarner mostly goes to, he absolutely rakes. On average, Bumgarner will go to the fastball about 23% of the time, 90 to 92 miles an hour, and Ozzie Albies features a 545 ISO with a 597 WOBA against that pitch. Then the cutter, the most used pitch for Madison Bumgarner, about 30% of the time. When looking at how Albies finishes against that pitch, he has a 375 ISO with a 568 WOBA. Really, really good. And if Bumgarner is going to go to anything else, he likes to go to the sinker and then the curveball. Ozzie Albies, not so good against the sinker, but the curveball, no worries because he has some good numbers against that pitch as well. So really like Ozzie Albies in this spot. Most notably, really crushes that cutter that Madison Bumgarner likes to go to. And he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Ozzie Albies, get him in your lineup. He's going deep tonight. A little bit of a contrarian pick there for you guys. Not exactly the most known power hitter around the league, but he can definitely slug against some left-handed pitching, and he gets a great matchup tonight. Love him in this spot. That is all from me. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. Then don't forget to check out my KJK DFS MLB package link below in the description. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.